Hi, and welcome to this week's video. This week is going to be a little bit shorter, but super important because I can almost guarantee you at some point or another, if not in the past or right now, definitely in the future, the words of I feel stuck or I'm feeling blocked are likely going to come out of your mouth. And I say this because I have not yet met someone who hasn't had that in some version or another. And I felt it's so important to share today what this actually means or what's actually happening when you have this sense of feeling blocked or stuck in terms of moving forward to creating what you want to be creating and or in terms of receiving what you want to be receiving. And I'm going to share with you 4 steps, and they're pretty quick to help you get unstuck as soon as possible, because once we recognize this idea of feeling blocked and stuck, we can stay in there a really long time, or we can actually move through it really quickly. And that's my desire for you today, to give you a little bit of context around what's actually happening within you and how you can shift it pretty quick. So stick around. I will see you soon. So I can't even count the number of times I've heard clients say to me, or I've read posts, or I've seen different things that say something along the lines like I'm feeling really blocked or I feel stuck. And so it's a very, very common experience. And I want to shed a little bit of light on it so that you have a deeper understanding of what it is. And actually, it can feel very immovable and very like, I don't even know what to do. And I want to sort of show you how you can, I'm going to say, release that or unpack it a little bit so that you actually can start to make some movement. So, first of all, feeling blocked or stuck. That's just another form of an upper limit. Also, you will see I have multiple videos on self-sabotage and upper limits and things like that. So you can take a look out for those. But really, it's going to happen when we're trying to progress, right? We generally don't just create upward flow all the time, right? We at some point are going to hit some version of a ceiling, and we are going to lose our mojo, lose our flow, feel disconnected, maybe lose our purpose or our passion around what we're doing. Things are going to happen in our personal life or whatever it is, and it's going to allow us to feel like we are feeling blocked or stuck and we can't move forward. So first of all, it's really understand that it's super normal, right? And at some point, like I said, you have either already experienced this or you are right now, or you're going to in the future. And I just really want to give you some context around what's actually happening, because I see it so many times. People they don't even know what they mean when they say, I feel like I'm blocked or I'm stuck. And so I just want to give you a little bit of context of what that actually is. And I'm going to give you the image of a ball of paper mache. So I will come back to that in a moment. But what happens is this blocked or stuck feeling is really it feels like it's in our mind, but it's really in our body and our nervous system and our subconscious, which is part of our mind, right? So it's all very connected. But a lot of times well, if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you know that I'm all about the body and how we can shift things really quickly, because our nervous system is here, our subconscious is here, our energetic body is here. There's a lot of things that are happening that aren't just in our head. But really, all of these things the stuck feeling is really an interwoven, embodied mix of things. And so I'm going to use the word compacted. So again, if you think about a ball of paper mache, how it would be compacted. And so it's this combination maybe of some, let's say, some emotional things that you've had going on, some thoughts that you have been running in your mind, maybe some past experiences, some beliefs. And so, yeah, it's often mental constructs, it's physical constructs, it's emotional constructs, it's even spiritual constructs, really. We are multi-layered beings. And so there's a lot of us, right? There's a lot of pieces that integrate to form who we are. And so what happens is we have this unpleasant experience with a person. Let's say we have this stressful experience in our work or our business. We have this interaction that doesn't feel good. We have physical stuff that we aren't moving. We're not moving our body, right? Things are getting stuck in our body. And so what happens is it becomes this big mass. And so I want to just say paper mache. And often when I'm doing energetic work with people, what they will say is it feels like this big ball in my chest or this ball in my stomach. And so when I'm giving you this image, it's not just random. It's actually something that I've heard over and over again. And so some of the stuff that's in this ball, let's say, is conscious and we're really aware of it. And sometimes we aren't are unconscious around it. And we basically don't want to figure this all out. So if you think about a ball, about paper mache, and that's that's even dating me because it's not something I even really did in my youth, but maybe you know what paper mache, right? You take paper, you take glue, and you kind of create these things out of paper mache. And so if you think about it, each of these things is like another piece of gluey. I think I can't remember, maybe you make it with flour or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's kind of covered in this, and then it sort of is added to the form, right? And so obviously paper mache is used to build and create art, right? And to create maybe a sculpture or something. And in this case, we're just talking about it, how it's sort of stored in our bodies. So every time you have this emotional response, maybe that's not processed, because most of us don't process emotions when they come to us. Most of us, stuff them down and then they come out later, right? So often, really, emotions we can process in like 90 seconds if we will do that, but most people will not. And so, or just not even aware that that is possible, right? And so they get stuffed down, they get kind of added to this ball of paper mache. There's maybe some old belief patterns that you have around what you're capable of, what you're allowed to have, all that kind of stuff. Again, there's so much that I have in my series around all of this, but all of that gets layered on and paper mache'd on. Yeah, some experiences that you've had that have felt unpleasant for you or stressful for you or fearful for you around, as I mentioned, it could be relational, it could be business, it could be anything really. And so basically it keeps adding and building to this ball of paper mache within us. And so again, it's very often in the belly, often in the chest. If you think about it's in the shoulders and neck, we have tension there. But if you think about when you feel like a ball or something that feels like stuck, it's often somewhere in our body, right? It's sort of between our collarbones and our pubic bones, somewhere in there. And so what happens, we keep adding to it to the point where we don't even feel like we have the ability to move it, or we don't have the ability to move ourselves, and we don't have maybe access to creative ideas or actions. We literally feel stuck, right? It feels like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to feel. And so this is what sort of shows up. And this is where people get this feeling of like, I'm stuck. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know, right? That's what they're going to be saying all of the time. And so I want to give you this idea first before I show you how to shift this a little bit. But so just really, hopefully you're getting an idea of what's happening here, right? All of these things are happening. We're not really processing. It's all energy, right? Again, and anything on my, anything I'm going to be talking about on this channel is under the assumption that everything is energy. So that includes emotions, it includes experiences, right? It's nervous system, it's all of these pieces. And so just understanding that this is happening within us in our body, and it feels like we can't move, or we don't know, we don't even know what it is. I'll often say it's like a mix of crap, right? It's just a mix of stuff that we don't actually want, that we haven't processed, and then it all gloms together in this big ball, right? And so then it feels like you don't even know what you don't know, or you don't know what you want, right? It becomes this whole thing where it's so enmeshed and packed in together, right? And so I just wanted to give you that as an image to start to feel into for yourself. And maybe you can sense this within yourself. And for some of you, it may feel like, I don't have this right now, and that's okay. You can always come back to this. Or maybe it feels like your ball is like this big, or maybe some of you feel like it's really huge. So just start to sense this sort of somewhere in your body. As I said, it's likely going to be in the heart area or the solar plexus area, maybe low belly, somewhere along those areas. If you know chakras 2, 3, or 4. It could be in the first, but anyway, it could be in any of them. But really, we're talking about that main area. I want to give you next just this understanding of the power of words, and even more importantly, images. So our subconscious really connects with images, right? It's why we want to feed our subconscious good images that it will help us to create. But what happens when we are saying the word I'm blocked or I'm stuck, just think about what image might come up to you around those words, right? So really this is the power of the words and the images that are created around that. So you might, right, it would be something blocked or stuck, feels very heavy. It feels very immovable. It feels maybe like a boulder. It's hard to say what comes up for you, but to sort of feel into it. But it's not going to be something that feels very possible to shift, right? Blocked or stuck, it implies that there's nowhere to go, right? But there's nowhere, can't go above, can't go around, can't go through, all of these kinds of things, right? And so that's just really for you to understand what's happening. This is happening in your body, and then your mind is getting on board and labeling it, which is what it does. That's the job of the mind. And it's saying, I'm blocked, or you're blocked, you're stuck, right? And so then that is just reinforcing this energy and the impossibility that you know how to get around it or to release it. So just before I dive into the steps, and this is going to involve you going into your body, just start to bring into your conscious mind that nothing is immovable, right? Again, energy always wants to move. It does not want to stay stuck. And so just this idea of like, how can I shift this? Just invite that into your conscious mind now. As I said, it could be detour, right? Can I go around it? Can I go over it? Can I go under it? Sometimes we really need to go through things, but basically we can lessen the density of this ball, right? Of paper mache. So let's just start with taking a moment to go into your body, and just sort of, if you have a sense of any version of this, feeling blocked, feeling stuck, and again, it might just be small, right? It may not, for a lot of people, it feels like really like I don't know what to do. I'm really stuck and I can't create flow. But you just might be intuiting for yourself that you're limiting your flow. So it's kind of like, say, an artery, right? You have a little blockage and the flow isn't as good. So you may just have a little bit of a blockage. And I would probably say most people have some, right? And so I would just, if you're still watching this video, I would invite you to go along with this, whatever sort of size and intensity this feels for you. So if you're able to close your eyes, do so. Always easier to drop into ourselves, drop into our bodies, maybe nod your chin to your throat. Take a couple of breaths just to let yourself be fully here and present in this moment and be connected to your body. And just start to notice something in your body. Again, your mind will say that the stuckness is all up in your head, but that's not true. So some common areas, you might feel tightness in your solar plexus, a ball in the pit of your stomach. You might feel restriction around your heart. As I said, it could be neck and shoulder tension or headaches. It could be all of this for yourself. So just check in for yourself around your pattern. And because I'm really going to be sort of mentioning this in a ball format, in a paper mache format, as I've mentioned. And so just, yeah, sort of intuit where that ball might be in your body if you were to have one. Okay, so just in this moment, so tune into that part where you sense this sort of accumulation of stuff, let's say, and just take a moment to breathe into it. So really step one is to go into your body and to locate this tightness, ball, tension, whatever. Give it some space, breathe into it, right? We're just allowing it to be here. When we push things away or don't allow them, they get more intense, right? As you know, what you resist persists, right? On some version, some level of that. And so when you actually, everything wants space, we want space, energy wants space, our body wants space. And that looks like physical space and also just time space and space to be. So just giving yourself this few minutes to go into your body and to witness this, to breathe into it, to notice it, and to not have judgment around it, just to let it be what it is. Yeah, so sometimes even breathing into something and giving it space will allow it to start to dissipate or lessen. So again, if we think about the paper mache image going throughout this, you might start to feel things softening, some of those pieces starting to loosen or maybe fall away just by breathing and bringing attention to it. And then going a little deeper, you can ask your body in this moment what it is trying to tell you. So in this tightness in your solar plexus, this pit in your stomach, as you give it space, as you breathe into it, you can ask it, what's up? What are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to know? Why are you so tight? And listen, you may get something and you may not get something, but allow your body to speak. And it will often speak just as our soul does, which is also located in your body, right? It will also let you, it's not going to give you like a full-on paragraph and it's going to be the Cole's Notes version, right? So it's going to be something like, I'm scared, I'm tired, I'm upset, right? It's likely going to be some version of an emotional response to something. It might be something like you need to lie down. It might actually be directive. So just listen to this, or you need to move. So you can capture this or be aware of this to act on it later. We'll come back to that in a moment. So next, going a little bit deeper into this dense ball of energy, this paper mache. Again, you may already start to see it lessening. If you're visual, you may see it. If you are not visual, you may just sense it, the intensity of it. So you're breathing into it. You're starting to ask it what it wants to tell you. And now you're really seeing this ball of energy. And so you may, I'm just going to give you a couple of images. You may want to surround this ball with like a gold light or a liquid gold or even water. So if you know paper mache to, which again, I don't even know how I know this, but basically it's if you add water to it, first you add water and the glue to sort of paste it on, but if you want to soften it, you can add water to sort of release it and, peel things off. Or if you had a mistake to correct, you could do that as well. And I could be a little bit off in my description of paper mache, but you understand what I'm saying here. So just allowing this liquid or gold or light or water to soften or decompress or decompact this ball. So we don't need to figure out what this ball is all about. We don't have to analyze it. You can actually move through this really quickly by lessening the density and intensity of it. As you do that, you may feel some feelings because there were some things attached to this. And so if you will just let yourself or allow yourself to process this or feel them, that will speed up the process. And again, it doesn't have to be mental at all. You can literally just visualize this ball that is a compact compression of all of this other stuff, emotional stuff, fears, doubts, experiences you've had, belief systems, all of this is kind of a piece of this. And so as you are softening it and letting go of some of this density, just start to notice that it's becoming softer. Perhaps there's layers peeling off. Perhaps it's getting smaller. Just going to give you a couple more minutes, maybe 2 minutes here, where you are just with this ball, breathing into it, maybe conversing with it as you do this. What do you need? What are you telling me? What do you want me to do? and or without language, right? Just letting this ball start to dissolve a little bit, to dissipate, to unpeel. And so for some of you, this could be a very slow process. Like it could just be starting to soften the glue right now. And for other people, there could be layers that are shedding really quickly. There's no judgment. It's just wherever you are. You can obviously come back and do this again. So I just want you to feel into this for another minute now. Just breathing in, bringing your intention to dissolve this, to release it. To shrink it. So just feel into this, and my invitation for you just before I finish with step 4 is to do this for a week. Do this 7 days. It's going to dissipate because it's just energy. It's emotions, it's thoughts, it's beliefs. And so it is forming this constriction within you that feels like a blockage, that feels like you're stuck, that feels immovable. But because it is made up of all of these things that are based in energy, as you focus your intention to release, to dissipate, to soften, to shrink over the next 7 days, you're going to start to see this dissipating, right? It may already be dissipating. It may be gone for some of you. For some of you, at the end of 7 days, there may still be some of it there, right? We can have a lot of stuff, right? We can have a lot of stuff that we haven't processed. And this is, not to take away from doing some other kind of work if it would serve you, right? But this is a way that we can move this through energy. So when you're ready, now just begin to come back into the room that you're in. Feel the chair supported underneath you. Have gratitude for your body. Just take a moment to be thankful for it. Because again, it's storing all of this stuff. It's storing this big ball of crap, right? That you haven't wanted to sort of be with and move through. So thank it, right? And thank your body and your energy for the ability to be able to transmute it. That's what's happening right now. You're actually shifting and transmuting the energy. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the room, just feel that groundedness in your body. Get tuned back into that sense of stuckness, sense of blockedness, sense of tightness or tension in your body. And just notice if it's still there, if it has lessened, if it feels a little more permeable, maybe, right? Maybe not quite as bally and locked in. Maybe it feels a little lighter. And just notice that. And that's just after a few minutes of us doing this right now. And of course, you can extend this time period that you do it for a week, do it for a month, whatever you want to do. Add it into your morning practice, do it at the end of the day. And I think just step 4 is always, because I'm like really this combination of energy and coach. And that's why I am an energy coach. So we do stuff with energy and we also receive things. And so the coaching part is, what did you receive and how can you translate that into outer action? And how can you act on the information you receive immediately and continually? So maybe you got this message that you're trying too hard or you're trying to prove yourself, right? That's why you have the ball in, maybe that's a message that you got, right? And how does that translate into your outer world, right? It might mean that you're pushing too hard or taking too many actions. And so you want to lessen that. Or maybe it's the energy that you're carrying as you're taking the actions, right? It's not about the number of actions or what we're doing and putting out in the world. It's often about the energetics that we're putting into those actions. So if it feels like I'm making outreaches, I'm doing these great things, but I'm trying to prove myself and I have this pushing energy, that is actually not going to feel good in your body, right? Versus, it could be you can still take the actions you're taking, but from a much more softened place, right? And so yeah, maybe this ball felt really hard within you and it's giving you the message of like, how can I show up in a place of peace or ease or softness in what I'm doing, right? If it feels right. So I'm just giving you some ideas. Perhaps it was some anger that kind of came up with you. And so it's like you may have released that. You may have dissipated it in this moment. And if not, maybe it's about how can I express this anger in a healthy way? I haven't done a video yet on that, but I will be. So stay tuned for that. But there are lots of healthy ways, right? You can do some tapping. I've talked about that a little bit and verbalize why you're angry. You can do something very physical. You can do something like an axe chop, right? I will share more of that, but even just getting your energy out, pillow on the bed, towel on a chair, right? Just to release the energy. I have a really great bubble technique, hello bubble technique. It's a piece of it is in under shifting energy quickly. And so that can help you continually shift this part of the block. And maybe the message was that there's a stuckness in your body. And so the message was to physically move your body, right? Because we can move a lot of dense energy through our physical body, right? We can just get out for a walk. We can do some stretching. There's so many ways you can do it. I just did a series or a video on quantum flow, which is sort of an elevated energetic embodiment technique. And often if you're getting there's a stuckness physically, it is about moving, right? Moving your energy, moving your body, getting that stagnant energy moving. So you can do that through energy techniques, which again, there's lots in my world here on this channel. And it also might mean that you need to be in action in some way. And so for some people, there's a blocked and stuckness because there's no action being taken. And we actually need to be in action to create some flow, right? So perhaps you're someone who is very stuck in non-taking action and just trying to figure it all out in your head, or just trying to meditate on it. All of these things are great, but if we're not taking the external continuation of this action, there can create a stagnancy as well. So that I hope will resonate with you in some way. It's just, this is based on my years of experience working with so many people, all different levels, all different areas of life, right? I mean, my focus is often on impact and income and self-expression, right? But there's always going to be some piece of health and relationship that's sort of woven into that, right? That is a part of what is happening. And so now I'm hoping you understand this a little bit more around why you might feel blocked or stuck, that it is normal, that it is because it's an accumulation of a whole bunch of things. And it's why we feel like we don't know what to do. It just feels like immovable, right? And then I've given you this 4-step. I'd like to break things down into steps so that it's helpful for your brain, but really it's about going into your body. I'm just doing a quick recap. Go into your body. Your mind is not where you're going to solve this. So tune into the body. Just notice where you feel tight, tense, restricted, constricted, any language like that, tension. Notice where that is. Breathe into it. Allow it to be there. Give it space. Maybe you notice you have a similar pattern all of the time and where you internalize and take all of this. Good to know. Step 2, start to have a conversation with your body. See if it wants to tell you something in this moment. Just open the door for it to verbalize something to you. Capture that. The idea of the paper mache ball and this dense ball of energy and softening it, really that's the energetic releasing of it, the technique here, right? Surrounding it with liquid gold, water, softening it, decompacting it, decompressing it, shrinking it, right? Just allowing the energetics and the imagery of this to help to lessen this and decompress. And if messages or feelings come out through that process them, get the messages. And then step 4 is to capture anything you received, act on the information, and translate that into some outer actions as soon as you can. So I will leave it there. I think this was probably longer than I planned. They usually are. But I would love to hear how this felt for you. So feel free to comment below. I hope that there's been a shift within you. There will be, I guarantee. If it isn't right now, go back and do this again, right? You don't have to listen to the whole preamble, but go back to the energetic part that I did. And there's so many videos which I will tag you. I've mentioned a couple, but I will put a few in the comments to help you go further with this. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, love to have you do that to continue our journey together. And I will say, if this is, work, I am starting to sort of offer this in my, if this is what I'm here to do on this planet, it's to help people get unstuck really quickly. And it's sort of my area of genius and expertise. So if this is something, if you know you're ready for more, if you're ready to expand, if you've got big things and it just feels like there's pieces that are stuck and you want to be in a greater flow, then definitely reach out to me. There's a link. There are links below where you can read a little bit about the offerings. You can look at my one-on-one offerings, and there's a link where we can have a conversation, right? This is just an opportunity to meet. It's a conversation, and it's going to be some version of embodiment and experiential that I'm going to take you through. And there's no commitment required with that. It's just it's a complimentary conversation and experience. So you'll benefit from it regardless. And then if it feels like we want to explore working together, we can do that. So just wanted to put that out there as well. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more in flow. No judgment if you don't. Just play around with this stuff. And yeah, just trust that we are meant to release. Energy's meant to not stay stuck. We're meant to let it go. We're meant to have flow in our bodies, in our energies, in our lives, in our businesses, in our finances. And so that is my desire for you. We'll talk soon. See you soon.